Hi Army, I've been wanting to contribute something to this incredible fandom, and BTS World has given me a way to do that. So at first, you can throw a powerful card at the early levels and pass. But eventually, you hit a wall. Just throwing your strong cards at it isn't working anymore. Why? Because they're using a variable algorithm to calculate the points. Chapter 1 was fairly straightforward. The required stats got a 150% multiplier, and the other stats were used at their full 100%. So for Chapter 1 Stage 2, since the required stat is passion, the math looks like this. Empathy times 100% or 1, passion times 150% or 1.5, plus stamina times 100% or 1, plus wisdom times 100% or 1. For those of you who haven't learned percentages yet, the reason 100% translates to 1 is if you have 100% of something, you have one whole amount of it. And if you have 150% of something, you have one whole of it and half of one whole, so you have 1.5 or 1.5 of it. Or anytime you see a percent sign on a whole number, pretend it's a dot and move it to the left. If there's already a dot, move it to the left, and that's your multiplier. Now back to Chapter 1, Stage 2. And if I remember correctly, they start you off with RMs love it with the following stats, and you haven't had a chance to improve your group stats yet, so those are all at nice, easy to calculate 100 each. Now fill in the formula. And since the game calculates them sequentially, I'm going to show them here sequentially as well. So RMs love it goes to 372 plus 990 plus 581 plus 400, which equals 2,343. And the minimum to pass is 2078, so you're already passing. Hooray! But they're going to throw in the group score too, so let's calculate it out. 100 plus 150 plus 100 plus 100 equals 450. Add the two together, and that's more than enough to get 3 stars. In the latter half of Chapter 1, when they start requiring 2 stats, the math is relatively straightforward once you know how to do it. But things get more complicated in the later chapters. In Chapter 2, they start switching it up, and unlike with the 2 required stats, they don't tell you what the multiplier for the other stats are. Luckily for us, Army is hardcore, and several of them did data collection, and I'm Fly Like G6 did the math to figure it out. And made an awesome calculator, originally in Korean, which they also translated to English for greater accessibility for International Army. They also made the data available in score tables along with their calculator. Link to it in the description. So the first required stat is multiplied by 180%, the second at 150%, and we know thanks to some dedicated research that at the whim of the game creators, one other stat is at 100% and the other 50%. Let's try 2-4. You'll need a score of 6,680, and thanks to Army, we know the formula for this. I picked 2 3-star or less cards at random for this example. So if you were to use card level 1 of Jungkook's All Prepared and RM's Smile with these stats, and we're going to assume you've made some progress in group stats by the time you reached here, so agency or group with these stats, will you pass? Let's plug in the formula. I'm showing this how you would want to put it into a calculator, Excel, Google Sheets, or similar programs, and be sure that you will get the right results. Technically, you shouldn't need to include parentheses in this case due to the order of operations, but some programs and calculators are dumb and will just do the math in left to right order, which will give the wrong results without parentheses. If you haven't learned orders of operations yet, it's a set of rules that tells you what order to do the math in. The basic version looks like this. First, parentheses. So anytime you see something inside parentheses, that means you do what's inside them before you do what's outside of them. So far, I haven't found any math that requires exponents in the BTS world, so we don't have to worry about that, but it would be done next if there were any. Then you do any multiplication or division. If we needed to do multiples of multiples, then you would do it in order left to right, but haven't run into that in BTS World. And finally, any addition or subtraction is also done in left to right order. Back to Chapter 2 for math. After we calculate each one, we get 2,956.6, 2120, and 677.6. Now we add the 3 up, and it's not enough to pass. Sadness. Also, I wanted to point out one more thing while I've got you. Notice this is a decimal number. But BTS World doesn't give you decimal numbers, and you're probably thinking, no big deal, just round it. 5754, that's a nice round number. But if you actually played these cards and agency stats on this level, this is not what BTS World scores you. It claims you got 5752. 5752 does not equal 5754. It took me a couple of minutes to figure this one out, most of which was spent going, what? That should have matched. Why? Why? What the F? That should have... Oh. So the trick is that you need to round down after every multiplication. Formula for Excel or Sheets looks like this, which for those who don't already know, basically means drop anything after the decimal. And that concludes this BTS World Math Will You Pass? I hope this helped at least one person. If anybody's interested in other related BTS World Math, like calculating my card's new stats if I level it, or how long to craft a card, or odds of drawing a 5-star card, or something like that, let me know. Oh, also, I made a spreadsheet that does this math and suggests what to level up. If you'd like a copy, link is in the description. Thanks, bye.